I'm gonna build a school.
And how is the school going to fix racism?
People are gonna be treated fairly.
What does a fair school look like?
Never been to one.
So that means you got to use your imagination, huh?
Imagination.
Honestly, the easiest conversations to have around race and racism are with children because they haven't been molded yet by society, right? So they're not pessimistic yet. They're not. I also think that they're not pointing the finger yet, right? Like, whose fault is it?
It's not common to see the solutions for injustices be placed in the hands of children. But Dr. Amber Johnson sees them as possibly the simplest key for solving these problems by literally placing the tools in their hands. With the Justice Fleet, community members are engaged with tangible exhibits that foster healing of injustices through art, play, and dialogue.
So what we do is we take highly interactive exhibits, and you have to think of exhibits differently from you would like a museum exhibit. It's an experience. And we take them into neighborhoods and we have them engage in these different activities that are either rooted in art therapy, play therapy, or horticulture therapy, some form of therapeutic activity. And we have conversations that otherwise would be really difficult.
Topics can range from economic injustices, housing security, abuse, equality. And these difficult conversations are key to ensure our children are growing up with the tools they need to confront these issues.
When a white person just start shooting at a random person for
I think
no
that's
reason,
good.
the cops come up, hey, you're innocent, even though...
All right, so here's some statistics. 1 in 1,000 kids get hit by a car. But how often do we tell children, look both ways before you cross the street? That is a lesson that we are hammering into their heads from day one. Imagine if we hammered bodily consent into their heads from day one the way we do, look both ways before you cross the street. Because in reality, like 1 in 4 children are molested. So the way that we teach look both ways before you cross the street is the same way that we should be teaching children about bodily consent. It's the same way we should be teaching them about racism and the way racism shows up. Same way we should be teaching them about sexism and the way sexism shows up.
Starting the conversation is the first step, but how exactly does the Justice Fleet aim to fix the problems? Let's start, for example, with the Radical Forgiveness exhibit. The Justice Fleet defines radical forgiveness as the profound notion that we don't have to live with injustice, and that we have control over the way we perceive, understand, act, and react in our world. Participants in the Radical Forgiveness exhibit engage in an art activism project where they share their own biases and seek forgiveness.
So no matter what we're talking about, people need to heal from past traumas caused by systemic injustice and oppression, from community violence, from whatever it is. Because we can write as many policies as we want, but if we don't heal, those policies will reflect our trauma.
And while kids are more eager to engage after seeing art supplies and toys, these exhibits are meant for people of all ages.
Especially with radical forgiveness, there's a lot of skepticism at first from lots of different ages. And my favorite story was one older black man. He was a really big guy. And he was sitting down and he was like, I don't think this is gonna work, but I'm gonna try. And he's like, I don't know what to talk about. And then he just realized, I guess in his head, he was like, people automatically assume I'm a bad person because I'm so big and I'm black. And I feel like I'm always trying not to take up space to prove that I'm a good person. And I'm always making myself smaller and quieter. And then he started crying. And then he painted his thing. And then he said, I feel so much lighter. And so I think for children, for adults, I think a lot of people want to heal and they want to start their process with healing. They're just not sure where to start. And I think we're a start for a lot of people.
So it's not as simple as just painting a picture and suddenly feeling healed. Dr. Johnson explains it's a fluid process that involves understanding, recalling, feeling, healing, and letting go. But the healing process doesn't need to be complete to look toward the future. With the Radical Imagination exhibit, participants focus on creating a space for people to imagine a just world where liberation and freedom from oppression are possible.
So for instance, Radical Imagination, we open up this box of toys, we're telling people to start touching stuff and playing. And adults are like, let me write my ideas down first. Let's confer and decide what we want to build first. I'm like, no, just do it. Whereas children, they start immediately. They don't worry about constraints because they don't understand, like, money's not an issue to a child. But if you say, here's a box of toys, how would you fix homelessness in St. Louis City? Ideas fly because there's nothing at stake. There's nothing to lose in this moment. We're just building ideas.
And the work doesn't stop when the toys are put away. As an associate professor at St. Louis University, Dr. Johnson is also a founding member of the Institute for Healing, Justice, and Equity. The Institute is made up of faculty who is committed to research and community outreach for equality.
I see the Institute becoming sort of the epicenter of discursive change. When there's great crisis, there's great opportunity for social change. And we are in the middle of a crisis.
By analyzing laws and policies, providing training and academic resources, the Institute's mission is to eliminate disparities in individual and community health. And like the Justice Fleet, healing is a key component. But aside from their academic work, Dr. Johnson is also a parent and enforces the importance of having these conversations about social justice early and often.
Social injustices happen faster than our language can keep up. So even though I have a PhD in communication and I've been teaching social justice for 15 years now, I still mess up. We're not always going to say the perfect or right thing. We're not going to always have the perfect response. We're not going to always have the perfect lesson. But I think if our kids know that and they see us as human, it's easier for them to accept their own mistakes. And I think that's something that's really important to also understand is there's no such thing as like doing it right per se. You have to give yourself grace and compassion because in reality as a parent, you're also learning.